Hey guys, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use Autodesk Maya. This is my perspective and how I use it, so let's just jump straight into this video. Let's do this. So at the top you'll notice you have things like File, Edit, Create, Select, Modify, Display Windows. Now anything after Window will get changed. How will it get changed? Well, it depends on the menu set you're in. So at the moment I'm in Modeling drop-down. If I change this to Rigging, after Window you get things like Skeleton, Skin, and Deform. So make sure, if you're ever following a tutorial anywhere, and someone says, go to Edit Mesh, and you say, I can't see Edit Mesh, well, you might be in the wrong one, so just do Modeling. Make sure you're in that as well, okay? Now, all these icons you see across the top here, on these different tabs, like Sculpting, and UV Editing, and Rigging, these are just shortcuts that you can find in certain windows. So there's not like, oh, I gotta figure out all this in here, and all this across there. Now, it's just duplicates, so just be mindful of that as well. We can do things like symmetry. We can turn on symmetry in X, Y, and Z. We can this is our render buttons, login. Upstairs here, our workspace on the right-hand side, this is our general workspace. This is where it's general workspace. I can change this to a expert, or to a standard, or to UV editing. And if anything ever goes wrong, such as in general, and I take this window and just drag it off like this, how do I get it back to default? Well, I can go to Workspace, General, and then just go to reset my current workspace. I will put it back to where it once was. Then on the right-hand side, you've got your channel box, your attribute editor, and your modeling toolkit. Super important windows, and we're always going into those all the time. And then at the bottom here, you've got your layers, animation layers, and display layers. Across the bottom, you've got your play function and your time sliders. This is where all the animation happens. You've also got Mel script. You can type in some Mel script in there as well. And then on the far left, we've got our tool settings and our outliner. And this is where everything gets saved into. So anything that comes into our scene will get saved into the outliner. And then we're back full circle. Let's talk about the interface just a little bit. You'll notice that it has this X, Y, and Z. Y is up, X is left and right, and Z is forwards and backwards. Sorry, Y is up and down, I should say. And where the line appears, that indicates the positive side of things. And you might not have this in the middle of your screen, it just might be down the bottom left here. So to get in the middle of your grid and in the middle of your screen, we can go to Display, Heads Up Display, and turn on Origin Axes. That will put that on in the middle. Now, knowing which way is what is super important. Anything with the line is the positive, so this would be forwards, and then this would be backwards. This would go to the right, and this would go to the left, and then up and down. And the reason why I put this on is sometimes if it's not in the middle of my grid and I don't look down there, then sometimes I can be upside down. And I don't want to be upside down, so just make sure you put that on. It kind of helps to navigate a little bit as well. How do we move? Well, it's all done with Alt, so my thumb is on Alt, and this is left mouse button, middle mouse button is our pan, and right is our zoom. So we have our rotate with left, our middle mouse, click the wheel, that's going to be our pan, and our right mouse is our zoom. We can also scroll the wheel. That does little steps, so I'm always better for Alt and right mouse button, just to zoom in on that. Okay, so it's all done with Alt. Next, let's get an object into our scene. So you can go to this menu setup here under Create, and you can create things like NURBS primitives, polygon primitives, and different shapes. Or I can just use this quick kind of poly modeling tab with these orange icons. Let's do that. So let's grab a cube and let's put that into the world. Now notice how I'm quite a distance from it. So with it selected, I'm going to press F, and that will frame up our work. So F. If I click off, there's no green cage. If I click on, then this is what's called object mode. This is now selected. To move this object, I would press W. That will bring up a little gizmo, and this is my move handle gizmo. These cones indicate that I can move it forward and backwards, left and right, and up and down. I can also grab the gizmo from the middle and move around. And if you take a look at my channel box on the right hand side, as I move, you can see my channel box updating. So this is live updating in all 3 axes. You can also grab the colored little squares in between 2 axes. And if it's in between those 2 axes, it will eliminate the axis it's not there. So for example, if I grab this little green square here, it will go forwards and backwards, left and right, but it will not go up and down. And take a look at my translate Y, the up and down, as I grab this little icon, it doesn't move. Same with this one. This will lose the left and right, the X, and this one will lose the forwards and backwards. So you can move it in 1 axis, 2 axes, or 3 axes from the middle. That's W, that's move. Then this E, this is for rotation values. Again, exactly the same. We rotate X, Y, and Z, and also in all values as well. And lastly is R. This is for scale. We can scale from the middle to keep uniform, or we can do individual scales, X, Y, and Z. And notice how W looks kind of like R, but we have cones for W, for move, and we have these squares for scale. Make sure you know the difference between W and R. Sometimes I see new users, they get a little bit confused with what's what. So W, E, R. If you want to increase or decrease the size of your gizmo, you can press plus and minus on the keyboard. Plus, and this is minus. Some people go really big, so it's off the screen. You got to zoom out. Look at it's too big. It's way too big. And then we got minus. Bring it back down. And don't go too small either as well. You never grab anything. So I like mine a little bit bigger than the actual model itself. It kind of works well. If you want to undo something, an undo function is Control Z. Scroll all the way back. I did it quite a bit. And then go forwards is Y. So Control Z to go back, Control Y to go forwards. Let's just delete it. So I'm going to click it and then delete and get a new one in our scene. Let's hit spacebar on our scene. This will bring up my 4 camera views. Cameras are in my outliner, and everything that's in my scene is in my outliner. So we see P cube 1, which is the cube, and then my side, front, top, and perspective camera. And it says at the bottom of each camera view, top, front, and side. And sometimes you will lose perspective camera. If I make this a front camera as well, so where's my perspective camera? In any of these little panels across top, these little menus, you'll find panels. So view, shading, lighting, and this is all duplicated in every single of these camera views. If you go to panels and then perspective, you can find the persp camera just there. I'll put it back to perspective. And if you want to make any one of these bigger or smaller, we can. Just hit spacebar again and it goes big. Spacebar to come out, spacebar to go big. I've also got these little information boxes up here as well. I can turn these on or off. This one is going to be my poly count, and they might be a bit distracting right now. So again, if you see anything on your screen, you can turn them off on the display. Heads up display, we've been there already for my origin axes, but I think that one's called poly count. Yep, that goes. And this one, let's take a look what that's called. It's going to be called object details. Yeah, there we are, that's gone. Now I got a bit more space in my scene. This is something that always happens as well. Notice how my poly modeling is now blank, it's empty. I go to UV editing, I got my scenes, all my little icons. Sculpting's good, but poly modeling's not. Just scroll the wheel, up or down. See, this is up, this is down. It's like you're going to another level. So make sure that happens as well. If you ever lose it, just scroll the wheel, you'll be fine. But yes, W, E, and R to rotate, scale, and move. And note this here on the left-hand side, as I press W, E, and R, these are the allowed tool settings. If I double click into them, it brings up the little tool setting window for my move, rotate, and scale. And there are some other options in here that you can turn on. Close this. Alright, so once we know how to get object mode, we can also affect it via the faces, edges, and what's called vertices. So let's take a look at some of that. So again, I'm in object mode, it's green. And if I hold right mouse button down, it brings up a little hotbox menu, and in there is object mode. But we can also select face, edges, vertex, or they're called vertices in some programs. I call them vertices. Vertex faces, multi, and some other odd things as well. So let's take a look at face. So if I go to face and let go and hover over these faces, they turn red. And there are 6 faces on this bit of geometry, on this box, on this cube. If I click on a face, I can press W, E, or R, so I can just move that face, rotate the face, or scale the face. I can also hold Shift to add to my selection. If I select that one as well, and then scale, oh, which one have I got? Yeah, I'll do. So that will do something different. So those are faces. Then I got edges, and there's always 4 edges around a polygon. So any less would be a triangle, and then one more would be an n-gon. And this is, we class as, well, dirty geometry, so try and stay away from any 5-sided quads. So always 4 sides. And again, we can just click on an edge and move, scale, or rotate. And then we also can manipulate this via the vertex. So you find a vertex at the end of an edge. There's always going to be 2 vertices, the start and the end. And again, you can move a vertex, but you can't rotate and you can't scale. It's got no volume really, which would mean you'd have to select multiple vertices, holding Shift, and then move, rotate, and scale. That's identical just to selecting the edge as well. So W, E, and R to move, and then right-click, hold, face, vertex, edge. We can also do things like vertex face. This helps to look at cleanup and geometry, but we can dive into that another time. There's multi, which means you can select edge, vertices, edges, and faces all from the same selection. Sometimes that might get a little bit confusing, so I don't really use that much. I'm quite dedicated to either vertex, edge, or face. And a quick way of doing that as well, selection. If you go to object mode, and then you press F9, that will take you to vertex. F10 will take you to edge, and F11 will take you to face. That could be a quicker way of you accessing those as well. Good. Now, if you want to delete an object, you just press delete, but you gotta be in object mode to do it. So let me just duplicate this. And how do I duplicate an object? I can do Control D and just move that just over there, like so. Then if I just delete this one via going to right click and then I'm going to say faces, and then I can drag and select, and we're currently what's called a marquee selection. So if I drag over everything, everything gets selected. If I delete it, it leaves one. If I delete this one in object mode, it all goes. Because we're actually still not deleting the object, we're deleting faces that make up the object. So whenever you're deleting or moving or rotating or scaling the object, make sure you're in object mode. Let me show you what it looks like if you're in face mode and you move an object. Then go back to object mode. Oh, and my gizmo is not in the center of my object. And this one, you can move it in object mode and the pivot is good. This one is not good. How do I get that pivot back? Well, move it in object mode. That would be the first move. But if you've moved it and you want to get that back in there, we can look at the top here. You've got these little icons. You have these blue icons. These 3. This is my center pivot. This is my delete history, because everything we do gets logged in history. And also freeze transformations. And this helps to clean up our scene. These 3 icons are really important also. So to get this gizmo back in the middle, I'll center pivot and it'll just pop back into play. Delete it by being in object mode. Right click object mode, select it, delete and delete. Let's get a new object. Let's get a sphere. And this is what's called subdivided. And if you want to add more geometry to an object straight away, so like see all the edges going through here? If you want to add some of them, you can do that straight away. As soon as you initiate an object, you can do it. You can do this by coming over to the channel box, go into the shapes window, click on Polycube 1 or whatever number or name it is. Open that up and it shows a little hidden menu. And in there, I can add subdivisions width, height, and depth. If I click and drag down all the ones in that little windows and let go, if I type in a value now, it will also do the ones above. So how many divisions do I want? Let's divide it by 10. So we're going to go 1, 0, 10, and that will go 10 by 10 by 10, which is a lot more geometry. There's more than 6 faces now to this. In fact, if I go to display, heads up display, and bring back my object poly count, there we go. This faces is now 600 faces. This one is 400. Oh, I got it wrong. It was 400, not 200. I don't know. There we go. So these are 400 faces. This is 200 faces. But you can also reduce the amount of faces too. So this is adding more faces. And if I want to reduce, I'll select this. Go to Polysphere 1. There it says 20 and 20 in the subdivisions. Well, let's take that down to about 5. And now you get a totally different shape. This might be where you want to start. Well, maybe it's just too low. Maybe you want more geometry. Let's not do 20, let's do 10. And I keep clicking off and on to see the geometry. Well, this icon just up there, not far from the panels where we can find our perspective camera. In there, this one is called Shaded and Wireframe. So let's look at this. Press 4 on the keyboard, it goes to wireframe. So this is number 4. This is also see-through as well. Super important to see what you're selecting, anything in the back of your models. 5 is shaded. 6, it will be textures, but there are no textures right now. And 7 is lighting. That's where it goes dark, but there are no lights. So press 5 to go back to your shaded. But I also want to see the wireframe on the shaded. So if I'm nothing selected right now, but I want to see the wireframe. Click this button. It says wireframe on shaded. Click it, and now I can see my wireframe at the same time. There we go. I will leave it there. Just a little introduction into Maya. I hope this helps, guys. All right, so thank you so much. And remember, guys, keep pushing forward on your creative journey.